Frontline APC presidential aspirant Ahmed Tinubu says he led the political struggle that produced President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, despite all odds against the newly found APC at the time. Tinubu also says that he nominated President Yemi Osinbajo as Buhari's running mate to prevent a political stalemate within the APC that could have cost it the presidency. He spoke at the presidential lodge in Abeokuta in Ogun State capital while addressing APC delegates in the state ahead of the primaries on Monday. He says Buhari had offered him the APC vice presidential ticket, but some power blocks within the party led by Bukola Saraki rose against him, fanning the embers of Muslim ticket, and he adds he later settled for Osinbajo as a running mate to Buhari so as not to jeopardize the party's chances in the 2015 elections, noting that Saraki fought him just because he wanted the Senate presidency as a fellow Muslim too.
Tí ó bá sí àwa èmi tí ń dúró wájú yìí tí ń lérí ogun tí ní òkè Buhari nìṣó ká máa bá lọ. Kò lè di president. Ó ṣe kìíní olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kejì olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kẹta olùlẹ̀. Ó tiẹ̀ sunkún lórí tẹlifíṣàn pé láyé òun ò tún rán mọ́. Mo dẹ̀ lọ bá Kaduna wá rán ọ̀rọ̀ ẹkún kọ́ lélẹ̀. Àdúró tiẹ̀ wá dẹ̀ wọlé. Nǹkan kan ní pé o ò ní fọ̀rọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá ṣeré. Ó dẹ̀ gbà. Àtijọ́ tó yẹ ti débẹ̀, mi ò gba mínísítà, mi ò gba contract, mi ì tọrọ ọbẹ̀, mi ì tọrọ gàrí, mi ì tọrọ fúra lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀, mi ì dẹ̀ ìyàwó ń bẹ̀. Mo wá ní lọ́tẹ̀ yìí o, Yorùbá ló kàn. Tá a bá dẹ̀ sa Yorùbá náà, èmi ló kàn. Eléyìí tí mo protect àwọn ọmọ tí mo gbé dání tó èmi náà fẹ́ ṣe present. Mi ò fẹ́ kán pa mí mọ́tàn.
I do not have a doubt in my mind, and I'm sure there's no doubt in your mind as to why our leader has come. Our leader, our people have listened to you very well. I'm sure they've digested everything you've said. Rest assured that we will do the right thing. We shall do the right thing. You have justified and stated clearly why power must come to not just the south, but the southwest.
Okay, we'll do the right thing, Tundu.
What does that mean? That's actually quite cryptic because Governor Dr. Abiodun has publicly supported Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. So that do the right thing, does that mean Ogun State delegates are going to vote for the Vice President or Asiwaju? But according to Asiwaju, they should vote for him. No, not that they should. They must vote for him. They must. They must. Because this is payback time. He's been quite consistent. This is Bola Tinubu with regards to him being a kingmaker who now wants the throne for himself. But this is the first time we've heard him use this kind of very blunt language to describe exactly how he feels entitled to that position of president of Nigeria. If not for him, certain people, for example, our governor of Ogun State, who he said, Eleyi, Tojo Kosipe, would not have been governor. And we saw the camera pan to our governor and he nodded, meaning, acquiescence to that point. I wonder if the president will be so acquiescent or if he will feel embarrassed or resentful because of this speech that Asiwaju Tinubu made, saying how he lost so many times, he was crying. I had to rescue him. President Buhari, he was crying. President Asiwaju, Freudian slip there, I was going to say President Tinubu. So Asiwaju Tinubu had to go and rescue him from political dejection and restore him to glory. And this is how he became president of Nigeria, but it was conditional. And I caught the dog whistle there. There's a dog whistle in there of an ethnic turn to this conversation. It was conditional upon support for Yoruba people. So what that says to me was that there was an agreement between President Buhari and Asiwaju Tinubu, as has been speculated in the past, that after President Buhari's tenure, it would go to the Southwest. That is what Asiwaju Tinubu is saying. And that if it is to go to the Southwest, which he believes it must come to the Southwest, it must come to him. Because in terms of experience, in terms of this, that, or the other, it must be him. So this is exactly what he has expressed here. And I wonder what has, inspired this kind of bluntness from Asiwaju Tinubu. Could it be this talk from President Buhari saying that he will choose his successor? Asiwaju Tinubu reading the writing on the wall and not seeing his name on that wall. And he's obviously expressing real, I don't want to use the word anger, but there is an undertone of that. He's clearly displeased at the way, matters are turning. The APC convention is right around the corner. For us to be hearing this kind of language, there's definitely something that Asiwaju knows that we don't.
Dr. Batsi?
Well, yes, the context for all of this, I think, is very clear enough. This week, the president asked for the support of the governors to allow him to choose his own successor under the framework of what he calls reciprocity. And since he made that statement at the meeting with the 22 APC governors, we've been told that there have been meetings here and there. The governors have met. They've not been able to choose a consensus candidate. We understand that the northern members, northern governors and leaders of the party, they are also meeting. And, they are looking at the possibility of a consensus around a candidate from the northeast or from the north central. That same yesterday evening, the vice president met with 5 governors, we're told, in the villa, including Dave Umahi, including Governor Sule of Nasarawa, including Fayemi of Ekiti, and 2 others, Inuwa Yahaya of Gombe. Now, that statement by the president has created some kind of anxiety within the party. Second, you see supporters of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu saying categorically that they don't want a consensus arrangement. They want to go to the field and that the party should just stay by the indirect system of choosing its candidate rather than a direct system or a consensus option. James Faleke, a Tinubu follower, is the latest person to have restated this point. So, Tinubu has always been described as a strategist. What he did yesterday was to go to Oyo. From Oyo, he moved straight to Ogun. And he didn't just go to Ogun just like that to meet with the delegates. He was accompanied by the governor of Kano, Ganduje. He was accompanied by the governor of Lagos, Sanwo-Olu, former governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, and also Senator Teslim Folani, who is now the APC gubernatorial candidate for your state. So, that's a powerful delegation, if there was ever one. And why is Ogun State important? Ogun State is important because that's the state of the vice president, whose supporters are already saying, he's a consensus candidate that the president is talking about. So there is battle ahead of, 3 days ahead of the convention of the APC. Now, all the things that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, well, if you look at it, yes, it may be difficult to fault his claims. It is true that he supported, President Muhammadu Buhari to get to power in 2015. It is true that he was instrumental to the formation of the APC in 2014, that coalition of strange bedfellows, as I call them, a faction of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, APUGA, the Congress of Progressive, the Convention of Progressives Congress, CPC, anyway, Coalition of Progressives Congress, CPC. You had also the ANPP as part of that. And then you had the Action Congress of Nigeria that he was leading. They came together and formed that, party called APC. and he mobilized the 6 states, according to him, that he controls in the southwest. And so the combination of the north and the southwest produced the Buhari presidency. He says he nominated Osinbajo, and he gave the explanation that he actually he was asked to bring 3 names, Yemi Cardoso, Wale Edun, and he chose Yemi Osinbajo. But because he thought they could go and add a 4th person and choose whoever they liked, he decided to stand with Yemi Osinbajo. The first time, he's responding categorically to claims about whether he made the vice president or not. Now in Ogun State, previously, the governor of Ogun State had already said the delegates, he had pledged the delegates from Ogun State to Vice President Osinbajo at the forthcoming convention. Both of them, apart from coming from the same state, they are also from the same zone, the Remo zone. The governor from Ikperu Remo, Vice President Osinbajo from Ikene Remo. So it will look like, look, I have to watch my brother's back. And I guess that it is for these 2 reasons that, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to remind everyone, in case they had forgotten, including the man you said he called Iliyi, this one. I don't think that was very nice. On a day, the governor of Ogun State was 62, and everybody was celebrating with him. But let me now go back to it. Even if we cannot controvert some of the claims that he has made, he needs to be reminded that nobody should have a sense of entitlement about the presidency of Nigeria. The best that he can ask for is the ticket of the APC. Even that ticket of the APC is not something that he can force in a democratic process. And this is a man who is known, for his promotion of democracy. He took part in the June 12 struggle. He was a member of the Nadeko coalition. For him to now turn around in 2022 to repudiate all of that because of personal interest, I think that's a very major point of criticism against him. The second thing is that Nigerians cannot be held to ransom. For heaven's sake, we are a country of over 200 million people. Whatever gentleman's agreement may have existed within the APC or between Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and President Buhari, that's a gentleman's agreement between the 2 of them. That cannot be imposed on over 200 million Nigerians. Okay, what is being suggested is Asiwaju Tinubu saying whether Buhari likes it or not, he must just hand over the presidency of Nigeria to him. Bring me the presidency. It is my turn. Who talks like that in a democratic setting? Actually, look, many Nigerians will not appreciate, some of the fine points involved in this because the cadence, the rhythm, the flavor, the subtext is lost in translation. Yes. Because the man speaks excellent Yoruba. When you listen to him in the original, that's when you will be able to appreciate it. It's Yoruba, those who speak Yoruba, who understand Yoruba, who will really get the effect of what he was saying. He tried the first time, Ojule. He tried the second time. I mean, that cadence is lost, Olule. He tried a third time, Olule. And then I came and, all this lule is between them. It's the Nigerian people that should choose the next president of Nigeria. And no suggestion should be made that the apparatus of state, the coercive powers of state, will be used on the basis of some private agreement within one political party to impose a future president of Nigeria. That is not, we are not part of that agreement. We should be allowed to use our PVC to take a decision. Finally, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, yes, he has made his point, but going forward, and just in case he emerges, I think we'll be more interested in hearing from him what he wants to do with the economy, what he wants to do with infrastructure, okay? So that, we can probably, properly engage him. As for Governor Dapo Abiodun, I think he played very smart. Was quite clever. He didn't respond to the point about I made you. Since he's still going to an election for second time, he will not want those who made him to unmake him this time around because that is the suggestion. That's the suggestion there. And then he didn't commit himself. He just said we will do the right thing. We shall do the right thing. Where that's hanging in the air. He has not said he's no longer supporting Vice President Osinbajo. But he has also not told Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu that he will not support him. Okay, so that's the state of play. But we'll see what will happen in 3 days.
One thing is certain. A couple of months back, Chief Segun Oshoba was here, and he spoke about an agreement. There's been back and forth as regards what he said about that agreement. Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu just confirmed it, that there was an agreement indeed. And the meat of the matter was that power was going to come, he was going to hand over power to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That was the agreement between both of them. Second thing is, going forward, this he has said, and all this he had put out there, there definitely will be repercussions. The question is, how reaching will the repercussions go? I don't know. Because the other political part will not sit and take this line low. A part of me says, let's see, the first step of those repercussions will start between the 6th and the 8th of this month, June. That's next week, Monday. Another part of me says it might be far-reaching even more than that. Time will tell. In all of this, I'm sure a lot of the Nigerian people will say, thank God this is coming out, so we see what these politicians do at our back. And I'm sure it has also shown that politicians don't care about the people. It's about themselves they care about. So when they make the deal, the people are not put in. And that's why when they say they are fighting for you, hell no, they're not fighting for us. The deal was made to be given, the presidency to be given to somebody, not the Yoruba people. We have to state that clearly. And for people, they think that they are the lord of the manor, that everything must come to them. But in their own states, today too, they enthrone people. So why did they find it difficult now when another person says, I want to pick my successor? They too have constantly enthroned governors in their own states. That's for the sake of balancing. And also in the political space, you are going to canvass a state governor to give you delegates. You're calling a 62-year-old man, Eleyi, that one. You're urging your supporters to cast aspersion. And they were saying, Alasho Dudu. He was wearing black, the one wearing black. You're urging your supporters on in his own state. And we know the power of a governor. Let's see how that will pan out. A lot of people have looked at it and said that's a great political misstep. That even if he feels hurt and betrayed by the people he claimed he has helped, then there's a way to keep it and not come out frontally to fight. Other people are saying, it's good, he should say his mind. Most of his supporters are telling him, he should say his mind. Tell the world. Let them know he's not happy. But the Yorubas have a saying that the solution to a headache will never be cutting the head off. Just maybe razor-sharp knife has been used to cut off the head of the political aspirations of the Southwest with what happened in Ogun State. But like I said, it hangs in the balance. Time will tell. The British High Commission has been celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee with top politicians and technocrats and members of the diplomatic community. The Commission says it will strengthen and deepen its relations with Nigeria for the benefit of both countries. Arise correspondent Punariman Benjamin reports.
It is indeed a huge celebration for the Queen here in the nation's capital, Abuja. Attended are top dignitaries from all walks of life. They're here to celebrate the life and times of Queen Elizabeth II. Her Majesty has become the first British monarch to celebrate a Platinum Jubilee. Marking 70 years of service to the British people and the Commonwealth, the Queen has ruled longer than any monarch in British history. Katrina Allen, the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, says the Queen has been a source of continuity and stability.
This year is very, very special as we're celebrating her Platinum Jubilee, which means she has been 70 years on the throne. The longest serving monarch in the UK. She's seen through 15 UK Prime Ministers, 13 Nigerian presidents, all that history that she's seen. She is an amazing woman, an inspiration to all of us, and that's why we're here today to celebrate.
Most speakers here want the world to emulate her humility and hard work.
The United Kingdom has been in this kind of democracy ever before we ever knew we become an independent nation. There are lessons to learn from their experiences, and we would not be ashamed to learn such lessons. All right? We also would wish that they show some understanding that we didn't start from the starting blocks together, and we may be making some mistakes here and there. We may be fumbling here and there, but with time and with deliberate intention, commitment, passion for success, we're working to be there, and by the grace of God, we will be there.
I think that you have to think about her dedication to service. All of us have a role to play, whatever we do, in taking care of ourselves and taking care of our community, taking care of our country, and I think that she is certainly the epitome of that commitment to service.
Such a monarch that has attained such age without scandals, we can learn that it's actually possible to be powerful, to be wealthy, and still be humble and scandal-free.
We should learn discipline, economic discipline, being prudent with our resources, like the Britain. The British people are very conservative with whatever they do. So I think these are most of the things we should learn from them.
Nigeria was ruled by the British Empire from the mid-19th century until 1960 before it gained independence. Since then, both countries have continued to build stronger relations. Punarma Benjamin, Arise News.
All right, a lot to say about celebrations yesterday, Tunde.
Wasn't it wonderful? I thought it was really great and befitting. But for me, I'm a huge admirer of Queen Elizabeth II. But for me, I think Kenneth Okonkwo got it spot on for me. Why I admire her is that she hasn't put a foot wrong, not publicly anyway, for 70 years. And I think that's an enormous feat for anybody to achieve. I can't think of any other public figure that has achieved that. Even when you look at her children, with their mistakes, they're human. It goes to show how rare that is. It speaks to such moral rectitude and such wisdom. So I think for me personally, that's what I'm celebrating. I did cringe, I have to say, about those reports about beacons that were going to be lit all over the Commonwealth. Britain's imperial past, I don't like to look at that. And I'm like, oh, no, we don't like that. Because I'm not a fan of that. And really a fan generally of the idea of a monarchy. Generally, I'm a bit of a Republican, but her as an individual, she deserves all the praise. She deserves the huge celebration. And it's really sad that she's not able to attend today's event, because yesterday was reported that she's feeling some discomfort. But her health, considering she's in her mid-90s, is sterling. She's just really such a blessed human being.
And she just survived COVID, too.
Yeah, she's so
and I think
blessed.
COVID really ripped her apart. For me, I think one moment I'll never forget that just pretty much characterizes everything that 70-year reign was when she found a citizen in a bedroom in the 80s.
Yeah, the man that broke into Buckingham Palace.
The man that broke into Buckingham Palace. And the calm way at which she handled him.
She's amazing. That woman is amazing.
I think that characterized her 70 years for me. That's who the Queen was.
Okay. Great event yesterday. A lot of excitement. The Queen standing at the balcony of Buckingham Palace. 4 generations of a family. That I thought was very exciting. And watching the people across the mall, thousands, if not millions of people who had come to cheer a queen, a monarch, who in 70 years has been a symbol of stability, of royalty, and history and tradition. Within the British community as leader. The High Commissioner to Nigeria talked about 50 prime ministers on our watch, 30 Nigerian presidents. That's quite a record. Now, the only British monarch to have spent up to 70 years on the throne, and she's not yet out. Even if yesterday I was pointing out to Adefemi Akinsanya that it looks like we're in a season of transition with regard to the British British throne, considering the fact that the monarch is already 96. Another exciting part of it yesterday was a young man, the great-grandson, Prince Louis, who stole part of the moment when he got overwhelmed by the volume of noise, the noise, and also the display, and he started yelling. And I saw Piers Morgan a few minutes later, showing pictures of the young prince. But altogether, great moment for Britain, but also a reminder, the beacons you were talking about. Maybe the beacons will remind us of our connections with the Britain. When Britain was an empire, before the sun decided to set on the British Empire. That is a heritage, that is
I like that.
That is,
Didn't they say it never would?
They said the sun would never set on the British Empire.
It
But the sun has set. I like that.
That shared heritage, that interconnectivity. And clearly in Nigeria here, from the persons that spoke, they have at the back of their mind also that connection. What I found most exciting about the beacons was when I saw it on the Stonehenge, it is called.
Yeah, the Stonehenge.
The Stonehenge.
Yes,
so it is pronounced, yes, on the Salisbury Plain. Because I used to, stop around there just to look, wondering how that got there.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege when one of the children
the Druids.
was going to a university in that direction. But altogether, we congratulate the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, as she, leads the people of England into the future, a future that she says should be characterized by new memories and new values in terms of, togetherness. And of course, let us not forget that it is under this particular monarch that the British monarchy has been modernized. Mm-hmm. The monarchy under her watch is significantly different from where she took off from her father, King George VI, right? That's the name of her father, where she took off from. And she has, we have seen a monarchy that has gone through many reinventions in the modern world, to remain relevant. So, disciples of Walter Bagehot, those who do not like the monarchy, I think this particular, monarch, has been a very good example.
Excellent example.
Excellent. I'm, like Tinubu said, I'm Republican. I think monarchy doesn't have a place in the modern world, but she's been a bastion of hope and stability, and she stabilized the country. The country has gone through many tumultuous moments in the last 70 years. It's not been an easy ride. And also, we thank God she got some good sense of leadership when she started. The likes of Winston Churchill, the work he did with her when she started, and it's helped her. And she's seen many prime ministers. And for me, the exciting part for me was the fly pass. The chance that, the fact that you get to see the Spitfires fly again.
It took us back to World War II, didn't it?
World War II, the Lancasters, you had the Typhoons, you had a couple of Chinook helicopters fly, you had the T2s, you had all the great planes in there. I mean, it was just so wonderful to see the plane fly. And the fact that you had Typhoons, 15 Typhoons draw the big 70 to celebrate platinum. It was really good.
The Royal Air Force outdid themselves.
And the fact that was one of the two remaining Spitfires still flying in the air, because these are really old World War II planes, and to see the Lancaster once again, that was really good for me.
Although we don't have time, but another important thing will seem to be the Queen Honours List.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe our leaders in Nigeria should take a look at that list again and see how, people are honored in serious circumstances, in serious countries where values are more important, on the basis of their contribution to nation and to humanity, not the kind of chieftaincy titles we give out here to undeserving persons.
Oh, yeah. Like we pay for pardons. All right, that's all on news. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll have Rotus, we have Michael, we have to give us updates on African and global business. Stay with us.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Our dependable Rota Sadiri is here to give us an African business update. Good morning, Rota.
Good morning, Tundu. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Doctor. Yeah, things happen. So we start with FBN Holdings. There's a little acronym I like to play around with called FRA. Financials reveal all. You always get all your information in financials. We've a lot of, and I should have, if I was here yesterday, I would have revealed this. But we've all been waiting for FBNH, FBNH Holdings PLC's. That's the holding company for First Bank. Financials, which have revealed or confirmed, not revealed, confirmed that billionaire investor, head of the Geregu power plant, Femi Otedola, is indeed the majority shareholder with holdings of 7.57%. The full year 2021 financials for FBNH revealed that. Also, the first quarter 2022 financials reveal that as well. In fact, let's pull it up. So here it is, and it's very interesting. So this is looking at March 31st, end of the first quarter of 2021 versus the end of the first quarter of 2022. And at the top of your screen, there's we got this one. We pulled this directly from the financials of FBNH. Substantial financial holdings, you'll see him at the top there in terms of his percentage, 7.57% total substantial shareholdings. Then, of course, the other directors, CEO, MD, Dr. Adeshola Adeluton, he's also has holdings there. But Mr. Otudekon, he actually, if you take a look, it looks like his holdings have been deleted. Otudeko, excuse me, Dr. Oba Otudeko. On the right-hand side, you see he had like a 1.49% holding. That's in 2021. As of 2022, that's gone. Of course, Tunde Hassan is still very much in the mix there. He has holdings of about 4.31% total, and then Leadway Pension as well. So it's just confirmation of what was already known. But it's bona fide there, right there in the financials. Another thing in the financials. Remember, we said that diesel costs. We would start to see what the quoted companies were spending, and they have a line item which is called communications, light, and power. Unfortunately, it's not disaggregated. It's just all lumped into one line item. But FBNH, they spent 3.1 billion naira on that, which is like a 40% increase from what they spent on power in the first quarter of 2021. I think it was about 2.2 billion naira or so. So it's just going to be interesting looking at all the different companies, seeing how the diesel issues have been affecting them. So that's that about that. We go to Kenya. Safaricom and Visa have joined forces to launch a global virtual card. This card is supposed to allow Kenyans to basically be able to shop overseas beyond their shores, and critically, because Kenya is facing a foreign exchange issue right now, supply issues, they will be able to pay, I think it's a limit of about 150,000 to 300,000 shillings, pay for goods overseas with their virtual card and be able to access it. I think we have a quote from the CEO of Safaricom, where he says that they've been, M-Pesa, or rather, M-Pesa has over 15 years evolved from a simple money transfer service to become a robust payment platform and driver of financial inclusion for Kenyans. It has paved the way for numerous innovative services. And by partnering with Visa on this global pay virtual card, they're looking to bridge the gap for customers who would like to use M-Pesa anywhere across the world, Peter Ndegwa. And, well, if anyone's worried about Safaricom getting any bigger, I don't know what the counterpoint is to that. 8 out of 10 Kenyans are financially included. That's one of the highest rates across Africa, so it's pretty huge. Tanzania, They've effected their fuel subsidies. I think they spent about $43 million is what the Tanzanian government has spent on fuel subsidies. And fuel prices actually, they inched down in Tanzania. I think that it took effect on the 1st of June. And it's the same thing that everybody else has been saying, the war in Ukraine and so on. So petrol, 2,994 Tanzanian shillings, down from 3,126, so about $1.28 from $1.34. Diesel prices also coming down as well. You notice if you convert that in dollars and what they're paying for over there, that's about what, 700, 800 naira.
With this new exchange rate?
With that, right, that's what I'm saying.
Close
With the
to
new one.
1,000 naira.
Right, excuse me. Close to it. I was using the official.
Oh, this is close to 1,000 naira.
If you use
this is close to 1,000 naira.
If you use the parallel market, yeah.
It's like 900 naira.
Exactly. And then finally, Netflix. The Hollywood Reporter said that Netflix across the world was going to go lean. They have reduced their workforce. They said they're reducing content spending in Africa, reducing content spending in Asia, North America, Europe, everywhere. However, I don't know if you've heard of this movie called The Gray Man. It is the most expensive Netflix movie in their history. $200 million. This is after the subscriber drop. The stock is down about 40% year to date. And yet, the streaming is just a really expensive business. And I think you've got Chris Evans, you've got Ryan Gosling. It's directed by the Russo brothers. They're still, despite their challenges, they're still spending that money.
I'm not sure that they are. I think this is back in their days of $700 for a share.
Yeah.
I don't think today that project would ever have gotten the green light.
No,
today,
but it's being released.
Now, they have to release it because it's already been,
in production.
It's produced.
Right.
I don't think today that will happen because they've been slashing a lot of their projects. You remember the one Meghan Markle's project? Yes, and then they've been sacking staff. It's really brutal out there. But for me, it's funny you should talk about fuel subsidies and talk about Netflix. As far as I'm concerned, they were subsidizing entertainment. They have these massive budgets, and how much do we, the consumer, actually pay to watch it? Most people who watch Netflix don't actually pay for a subscription. You're using somebody else's. So that's an entertainment subsidy. And we can see that subsidies are not sustainable. That, for me, is the moral of the story.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
Yes,
but I think with Netflix, the business model was a long-term business model, was to be able to iterate volume over a period of time. So when they get the volume, then they will stabilize out. But the problem is, they're not even adding the new subscribers any longer. Why? Many reasons. COVID has ended. People are off their homes. They're not watching streaming again.
It's just not
working.
working.
And it's not working. And even
project,
when you look at the content itself,
it's not there, is it?
It's not there, really. Some people need bigger catalog. And that's why you see that people like Disney are doing quite well because they have the Disney Plus, because they have the catalog people really want to watch. And Netflix doesn't have almost all the catalog. Star Wars. Those are big catalogs. Yeah. So that's the problem with Netflix. And you see, most of the investors in Netflix have to look for a way to call back their funds because they are mostly hedge funds. I mean, the likes of Blackstone has got shares in Netflix. The likes of Vanguard has got shares in Netflix and the like. So that's why you see that there's this shift in all of it. Recently, I think Reed Hastings, founder of Net, had to buy 20 million more of Netflix shares to be able to make it look bullish, but it's not still working. I think the problem with them, the challenge you're having, is the problem of catalog. Yeah, there's big budget movie, but the thing is, what really sells on the streaming are catalogs that we know. And catalogs that we can trust, like the Star Wars of this world, the franchises of this world.
You can't go wrong with Star Wars.
You can't go wrong with those catalogs.
And Amazon Prime bought the James Bond catalog, didn't they?
And the Amazon Prime has got the James Bond catalog, which is another very big catalog that you can never find on Netflix. But give it to them, some of their shows like Bridgerton and the likes.
Stranger Things is also doing well.
Have done well. But also, I think Safaricom is something we can learn from.
Okay. Their dominance?
Yeah, their dominance is something we can learn from because it's a company that came to Africa, stabilized on the continent, and was innovative. Look for solutions to problems like payments, like power. We're talking about M-Pesa. We're not even talking about M-Copper, M-Power. Using a recharge card model of some sorts to give you solar panels and give you power and all of that. I think MTN too tried using that system at a point, but I don't know how the viability of that market has been.
Does Safaricom's dominance and size, does it bother you?
For me, yes, it bothers me because, it's fast becoming a behemoth. But when you look at it, it is not still penetrated into the biggest markets in Africa. That's why I'm still like, okay, it doesn't really bother me. With the size of Safaricom, it's not being able to make inroads into Nigeria, for instance. All right? And this is another very big market.
Because a bank-led model for financials.
So it's just East African that the market has been very good for Safaricom. But Safaricom just shows you how a good business can be properly run. I mean, and their former CEO that passed, Colomo, did a lot of very good work with the company, and they've run a very decent business over the years. So I think it's something we should all learn from.
Well, Netflix. Let me start with Netflix. I think this is just a business decision. businesses that do not reinvent themselves, that do not innovate, will collapse. It happened to Nokia. Nokia example is usually taught in business schools. It's a perfect example of the failure to innovate.
And Blockbuster.
Now, Netflix.
Yeah, Blockbuster.
Netflix found itself in a situation whereby, as a result of the war in Ukraine, it lost 700,000 subscribers.
200,000.
No, 700.
Was it? Okay, from Russia's exit, right?
Yes,
okay, right.
Russia,
Okay. Yeah.
700,000 subscribers. It has a total, a subscriber base of 220 million.
Yeah.
Now, this year, in the last quarter, they lost about 200,000.
Yes, it was a quarter.
But according to their own prediction, by the end of the year, next quarter, they will lose up to about 2 million. Now, there is also the problem of cost of living crisis. When people want to save costs, one of the first things they do is to stop their subscription. Then there is the competition from Amazon, from HBO, from Disney Plus, from Hulu. As a result of this, they arrived at, okay, we need to come up with a new business model. If we're going to lose up to about 2 million people in the next quarter, what then do we do? One of the first things they did was to
cut staff.
Stop password sharing. They cracked down on that. The second thing they did was to cut staff. Out of California, they sacked about 150 employees to start with. And now this third move to make sure that they cut down on film and features, on animated series such as Meghan Markle's PR, and that they just streamline everything. And then do films that are bigger and more expensive and that are fewer. You talked about the Grey Man, $200 million. There's another one, Nice Out 2.
Yes.
Which is going to cost about $469 million.
Staggering.
Why?
Big budget.
It's staggering.
So the question to ask is, the niche that Netflix had previously is that they did low budget, mid budget, movies. So they had a lot. They produced a lot in a gluttonous manner, and that gave them the edge. Now they want to do fewer films. Okay, what happens to that niche that gave them the market leadership? Secondly, doing big, expensive films, would that translate into quality? Because quality is also important. How they balance this, their new model, of producing fewer films and also building a stronger advertisement base for the business is what we wait to see. Now, M-Pesa and Safaricom and M-Pesa and all of that. Visa card. Yes, it will improve financial inclusion. The Kenyans, the ordinary Kenyan will benefit from it a lot because they don't have to worry about forex exchange, forex and all of that. So it makes life easier for them to buy from about 200 countries. It opens, it grants access to a global market, a wider market for the average person. So at the level of freedom that it grants, the empowerment that it offers, the facilitation of business transactions that it offers, I think it's something quite exciting. However, Safaricom and Visa, they're saying that they're going to extend the same model to other African countries. I checked that list for more than 5 times. Ghana is there. Democratic Republic of Congo is there. Tanzania is there. So why is Nigeria not there? And we have the biggest population.
No, but Visa has another partnership with Nigeria. I think it's with InterSwitch.
Yes, they mentioned that the other time. But it's not. It hasn't even penetrated the Nigerian market. But this is at a much bigger scale. So Nigeria is not the place that they are targeting. I hope they will target Nigeria. As for Femi Otedola, good for him. Now what has been laid to rest is that controversy over who is the biggest shareholder. At the time, there was a competition between him and Taiwo Udukale, right? Taiwo Hassan Udukale, the insurance person. But now it's been put to rest that he owns 7.57% of First Bank. That is fine. I don't want to be helping the billionaires to be calculating how much their money is. I think this should encourage, Femi Otedola further. He's done a lot in the area of philanthropy and support for the underprivileged in society. So as I look at the figure, he alone having, is it over 2 billion shares? Yes, let him also ramp up
The philanthropy.
The philanthropy
Yes.
is, giving back to society. That, for me, is where this, confirmation of the size of his wealth in only one direction. He's also chairman Geregu company.
Yes.
Some people have this money. They should just give it all back. As for Tanzania,
Yes,
right? Where
fuel
subsidy has translated into reduction in the price of kerosene and no, not kerosene, petrol and diesel.
Yes.
Kerosene remains
the same.
unchanged.
Yeah.
Well, reading that, my reaction was simply that, well, at least this is one country where they provide subsidy, prices go down, and the people can see it. In Nigeria, even when the subsidy is 7 trillion, by the end of the year, you may not see any effect at the fuel stations.
Nothing.
Because, as they say, in Nigeria, throw subsidy at everything. No, when prices go up in Nigeria, they never come down.
They never come down.
That's the unfortunate reality.
true?
And you're correct. I hear the accused, as of this morning in Abuja again. Few accused have returned in Abuja.
Oh, boy.
Thank you, Rochus.
Thank you so much.